There has been a realization that we need to diversify the energy mix and use all the other types of grid nodes. This is because of security of energy supply. Recently, we experienced rationing of power because of the water issue, and also to be able to exploit all the resources that we have. So we'll have geothermal, solar, and wind in the system in the future. And since wind and solar, especially solar, they can be used on a smaller scale, they will be connected to the distribution grid and also on household levels as well. Second reason is the mini grids that are being built now as part of the access to electricity program. The idea for these mini grids is to use them as a midterm solution until the main grid reaches the vicinity of a rural area. So once the main grid reaches that area, these mini grids will be connected to the grid. So they will by default become a distributed generation, distribution grids with distributed generation. Active networks are complex in nature, and their complexity also increases with the introduction of digitization. There are several stakeholders in this type of system. There will be utility scale generation and storage. There will be smart houses that will be participating in the power system, in the power operation by checking their consumption. But also, if they have generation on site, they can also sell power to the grid. There will be aggregators that will collect the generation and storage, smart houses, consumers all together so that they behave like a single power plant at the scale. And this is called virtual power plant. And there will be a market operator that will interact with all the other stakeholders. Digitization here is the enabler, the key enabler, with accurate sensors, fast communication, cloud computing to be able to have real-time control and observability of the system. Cybersecurity will be an issue in the future, and this is a topic that should be addressed continuously and properly. Otherwise, the system will be vulnerable. So what does it take to create that type of active distribution network? Of course, it's going to be capital intensive. The IEA, International Energy Agency, they estimate that for the scenarios that they studied, we need more than 100 billion USD to build the system, to have 100% access to electricity and to have that level of generation and transmission. Most of this money is going to be spent on the distribution system. This is a lot of money to be undertaken by the public fund. So other form of funds should be mobilized and try to do it the way we have been doing it, using public money. Other measures that should be taken are on the regulatory level. You can set up a market, local market, so that distribution grids will also have their own market. Data should be shared with researchers and entrepreneurs to come up so that they can come up with innovative solutions. This data, of course, should be non-sensitive and it should be open. The knowledge that we need in the future is not the same as what we are using currently, so capacity should be developed and also institutional knowledge should be developed as well. We need to put, in the planning phase, we need to put into consideration that we're going to have a variable generation, also at distribution grid level, and we should plan accordingly. This particularly affects the protection side of it. Smart grid and digitization should be put into plan in parallel with the access to electricity plan that we currently have. On the operation side, it will be more active type of control. What we have currently is it's just built once, there's no control there. If something falls, we will go and check and then they will reconnect it again. But in the future, it's going to be more automatic type of operation and more digital type of control. So just to conclude, future power system, the future distribution grid, it will have generation that's variable and distributed. It consumption will have a different pattern, and there will be digitization with high-speed communication, real-time measurements, and also like high-speed computing. But I want to emphasize something here, that half of the population doesn't have access to electricity, as I said. So most of the grid is going to be built in the future. And grid by nature, it's an infrastructure that will last for a very long time. So what we build now, or in the near future, it's going to be there in 2050 as well. So we need to make sure that we're going to build a future-proof type of grid. Thank you.
Very much on time. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Dr. Solomon Asfaw, whose last name is my first name.
Hello everyone, my name is Solomon. I'm a researcher in the energy system. I have my first degree is in physics from Baghdad University, then I moved to University of Norway. Then I did PhD. Then I have a postdoc from the University of California, and worked a little bit for 3 years at Atsede University. And then currently I'm working in British University in Finland. So what I am presenting here is just a summary of research that I've been working on for a long time, including at Atsede University, as you see British University here. So my title is, the title of my talk is Solving Ethiopia's Energy Sector Challenges from Now to 2050. Let me start by, my outline will address the following four topics. The first one is I will briefly highlight the current condition of the energy system in general, and then I move to potential resources that we have today, so that we could see if the problem relates to the resources that we have or not. And then we will look at the real problems that we have in our system today. And then I will tell you just briefly about solution and give you the conclusion in short. So I will be very short because I have heard Professor Asfaw speak this morning that he highlighted all the 3 key points so that you don't forget. So that's what we also do. Okay. So just look at this graph. If you look at this graph, you see the trend of energy consumption, total energy, primary energy supply from 1995 to 2017. The dominant energy comes from biomass. And it's not decreasing that much because we are still at about 90% on average. And if you look at the other fuels, like those power electrical energy, then they are just simply lower than 10%, and the dominant comes from hydro. This tells us a lot of story if we critically analyze the numbers. And because we rely on the least efficient energy resource to date, and it's not going away. And when you look at the portion of the services that is being provided by the efficient fuels and technologies, they are also affected by several problems. If you take the electricity services, it faces frequent interruptions, and which is severe because the standard is about 1 day in 10 years. In Ethiopia, you have more than 30 days a year. So you can see the severity of the problem. And this problem is caused by two major problems. The first one is because of the resource variability, which is basically hydro. And the second one is inefficient generation availability because of planning problem. And the other problem that we could see from the previous data is that it shows that the majority of the population does not have access to modern energy services, basically electricity. According to World Bank estimate, in 2017, the access is about 44%, which is one of the lowest. But later on, I will show you some data which could help you analyze what those numbers mean and future projections that we're making. The transport sector fully relies on oil, which is important, and it consumes a lot, consumes foreign currency deposit of the country, which is scarce. And those have their own implications, because the interruptions that we have today has led to several businesses to buy their own generators to back up the services that they provide. But if we have a different way of operating our system and planning our system, this story could be changed into an opportunity, because they could have a contribution in form of playing their share if we have an active distribution system that Atsede was raising earlier. So let me pass to the potential resource. I will just show you two slides here. If you look at the hydro resource, the estimate goes to about 45 gigawatts, and the total energy generation is about 200 gigawatt hour of energy per year, which is significantly higher than the present electricity consumption of the nation, and higher than the consumption that is projected to 2050. Just, I will pass the other numbers so that you could look. I will go to the side which is solar. When you can look at the energy generation by a megawatt of electricity, you get 1 kilowatt hour per year, 1.6 to 1.8 from a megawatt of solar technology. If you calculate only 1% of the total land area of Ethiopia, you try to calculate the electricity with just simply a conservative estimation, the number you get is the one you see on this side, the last column of the table, which shows that you can obtain about 200% energy of the current demand of the country. So we have actually rich energy resource of different kind which we can tap into to supply our energy demand. And this is a summary of ethanol production potential, just based on different plant sugar factors. You can see the potential on this side, on this column. The total potential we estimated in 2016, I guess, was about 400 million liters of ethanol. This could have contributed to the potential fuel demand of the country. And other resources that will be fueled by electricity and will be a clean technology, will also be a potentially viable resource that Ethiopia tap into. So I don't see a resource problem, but there is something else which is hampering the progress that we need to make in the sector of energy currently, and that we need to solve to achieve a target that we're talking about from now to 2050. So I will talk about those issues. So I selected only a few of them. The first one is lack of understanding of the nature of the problem, the system, and its impact. Here, I presented the impact of hydro variability and the load forecast error on reliability of energy service and the cost of electricity. If you look at the figure, the first figure, I just focus on the black areas, and you can see how low annual inflow affects the energy services. The energy services will be diminished by more than 10% when hydro inflow is very low, which is on dry, which is almost coming about 7 years run, about every 7 years run. It's becoming more frequent as we are going forward because of climate change. And the other impact comes from high load. If load forecast is higher than the one we see. Usually in Ethiopia, what's happening is our planning is much lower than the demand, which is almost a tradition. So our planning is always in short of the demand. And the impact on cost is what you see here. You can see low inflow and high inflow, the cost of electricity per megawatt. Our supply, you can guess how it prices. So we don't understand these issues and try to mitigate them in time. This is one of the problems. And the other issue is data analysis use and simple basic analytics could sometimes help us from making policy movement. And just look at this table. If you take 2040 data of electricity consumption in Ethiopia and calculate per capita Ethiopia's electricity consumption per capita per region, and go into the national electricity plan to 2030 and try to calculate the electrification, level of electrification. These are numbers you see. The average national electrification that you achieve by 2030, according to that plan, is only 60%. It's not higher. So just imagine what we're planning, what we're saying when we are going to achieve 100% by 2025. Because the capacity that we need is much higher than the one we have today. So the other issues are planning, especially that we take today, are more of political targets than seasoned targets based on financial, human, and other logistic capitals that we have, which we should do. And the other, and I can also say lack of dedicated local research, which is affecting. Most of our plans are based on consultancy results, and they cannot be validated from different sources. We don't have local knowledge, and that will be interpreted in several ways when we try to implement. A weak regulatory effect to enforce that these requirements, the critical requirements, are reached, met, and lack of integrated planning is one of the problems that are affecting us. So let me go to the solutions and conclusions. I have already said some of them. So existing challenge and the future challenge that we will go through is not related to resource. If we make a good planning, we can solve the problem that is hampering the economic development of the country, especially as a wealthy community. But to do that, we have to address some key issues. The first one is we have to have a dedicated local research activities for which we may need necessary institutes that we can do at different levels, that will do those things at different levels. And there is organizational problem in the energy sector, and those organizational problems and governance issues should be addressed. And together with that, political independence of the sector will be very necessary, because policies should be independent of political motives. And financing projects by improving involvement of industry, reducing corruption, and improving revenue collection is very important, which is one of the problems that I observed. And the most important thing is human capital is very important. Because we depend on consultancy, the intellectuals that are working in Ethiopia does not know what the policy is. Then they don't teach in classroom. They don't involve in the policy development. They don't involve in doing research. And then the students does not know where the country is. For me, that is a big problem. So we need to think in a smart way if we want to solve the problem. Thank you very much.